talk about Pidilite, that's a stock that we are keeping an eye out on. That is something that has seen a good set of numbers, steady quarter that's come in for the company during this quarter. Now, when you're looking at it in terms of the numbers, let's just have a look at that. Revenue seeing a growth of around 3.7%, profit up almost 21% for the company. While in terms of the margins, also we are seeing an improvement of around 235 basis points. So yes, surely keeping an eye on that one. Gross margins too seeing an expansion. But let's go across to Mr. Bharat Puri, Managing Director at Pidilite Industries, joining in with us right now to talk about their earnings and outlook of the company going forward. Mr. Puri, very good afternoon and thank you so much for joining in with us. I want to start by talking about what are you seeing in terms of the demand trends. What's your reading in Q1, especially rural versus urban and B2B versus B2C, international, domestic? What are the demand trends?
As far as demand conditions in the first quarter are concerned, actually we had even called this out prior to the first quarter. You've had two, what I would say, headwinds or unnatural events. One was obviously the disruptions and the impact of a long election, both from a labor, from a wholesale point of view, etc. And then there was these unprecedented heat waves. Now, if you see it in that context, we're still overall happy with the demand conditions. We were expecting a little better, but we were expecting some amount of disruption. As far as we're concerned, as you have seen, we have continued to deliver double-digit underlying volume growth. Obviously, the total volume growth is much higher, but we believe underlying volume growth is the right indicator to show progress because it's like equalizes the whole area of price of lower priced products. So having said that, therefore, as far as demand conditions are concerned, B2C remained a little, I would say, strained for some periods of time. It came back as the election got over and the monsoon started. B2B demand conditions have been healthy, especially in the project segment, in the large infrastructure segments. Internationally, actually, exports has largely suffered because of shipping delays. There's been a fair amount of issues, both related to the Red Sea crisis, as well as delays because of the whole China-US situation.
Right. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Puri. This is Shell also joining in the conversation. Let me just take forward the conversation and ask you about the Q2. Are you seeing anything specific for Q2? How have actually the initial 40 to 45 days been in the quarter? Any major impact have we witnessed due to the rains?
See, for us, Q2 is always a light quarter because of the monsoon. It is one of our lighter quarters. And every year you're going to have some excess rains somewhere, you're going to have some deficient rains somewhere overall. But frankly, the real demand trends only emerge from September as the festive season comes on, as people in a sense, plan their festival renovations, festival new furniture, so on and so forth, etc. So overall, I would say quarter two is looking similar to quarter one, but it's not really indicative. I mean, this question would be best answered, I think, sometime in September when we see where is the new normal.
Okay, right. We'll wait out for more comments in September then. But value growth, that has lagged volume growth. Do you see it recovering and converging at any point of time?
No, actually, whatever price decreases or price cuts we had to take, we've taken. We have consistently at Pidilite maintained that we are clear our product offers a certain premium. We make sure that the pricing premium remains within that. When we saw raw material prices become softer, we've obviously passed on the benefit to the consumers. Starting, I would say, the second quarter and by the second half, frankly, value and volume will move together. You will not see any major difference between the two because whatever price cuts we had to take, we have taken. We don't expect any further price cuts.
Right. Let's talk about your gross margins then. In the quarter gone by, you have very strong actually gross margins. They were at about 53.8%. Do you think these margin levels are sustainable?
See, we're comfortable with a gross margin between 50 and 55%, depending on the raw material situation. So, as raw materials have been soft, we've had good gross margins. But really where we focus is our EBITDA margin. We've consistently guided to an EBITDA margin of 20 to 24%. We're a little above that this quarter, but as you are aware, we don't manage quarter to quarter. We're fairly confident we will remain in that band, probably at the higher end of the band if this current raw material situation continues. So I would say overall, the raw material situation is benign, and hopefully if there are no black swan events these days, the greater worry frankly is geopolitics rather than anything else. So if something else does not happen somewhere else in the world, I think we're quite optimistic about the profitability of the company.
Right, and any significant impact of a higher competition, paint companies like Berger, etc., getting into waterproofing as well?
See, at Pidilite, we're no strangers to competition. Given the market shares that we enjoy, all of our sectors, whether it is adhesives, whether it is waterproofing, whether it is consumer adhesive, you will always see new competitors consistently coming in. My simple entreaty to my teams is our job is to delight the consumer and the customer a little more than everybody else. Frankly, in most cases, take something like waterproofing. Today, the real task in waterproofing is to expand the category. 4 out of 10 homes in India do any form of waterproofing. So really, a little bit of competition is welcome. Obviously, we don't take any competition lightly. And hopefully we have the right brand. We invest strongly behind our brand. We clearly have amongst the best sales and distribution networks in the country, amongst all the home improvement companies. We keep building on that. I mean, just to give you a context, just in this last one quarter, we are one of the few companies whose rural growths are still 1.5 times urban growths because of the investment that we keep consistently making in rural and emerging India. Our Pidilite initiative, which is retail stores in villages, a population of 5 to 15,000. We now have close to 14,000 Pidilite Duniyas across the country. Every quarter we will add a few more thousand. So we're investing. We're clear. Listen, we look too much over our shoulder at our competition, but we don't take any of them lightly. Hopefully, we will continue to delight our customer and our consumer a little more than everybody else.
All right, then we leave it there. Mr. Puri, thank you so much for joining us on ET Now, and all the best for the future quarters and the year ahead for Pidilite Industries.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.